CNN, I was questioned after I spoke in 2007 about Barack Obama. And CNN said, well, what do you think about this young man? I said, I think he's brilliant. I think he has fresh ideas. But I'm under no illusion that even if he did become president, that he could change the reality of black suffering in America, because when you are running for something, you can say a lot of things, but when you sit in the seat and you feel the energy of electricity putting something on your backside, the forces that surround power is always the real power. President Obama does not run this country. President Obama has been chosen to govern white affairs. And if in that process we get something, it won't be because the governing powers want it. It will be because we organized and forced a government to speak to our needs. Now, look, thank you for the question. You know, I want it clearly said in love that I love my brother. I voted for him. At 5 o'clock in the morning, I was out there with my wife voting for our brother. I, like you, am very proud that a black man sits in the White House. But I also understand very clearly, and we should understand, that it is the White House. And until we exercise power to force that house to address our agenda. Now remember, our dear sister Julianne Malvo mentioned A. Philip Randolph. Man, that was a long time ago. And the cry was jobs and justice. In the March on Washington in 1963, the cry was jobs and justice. In the 20-year anniversary of the March on Washington, the cry was jobs and justice. We are now in 2010. And what is the cry? Jobs and justice. Well, wait a minute. How long? President Obama does not run this country. President Obama has been chosen to govern white affairs.
Hello good people, a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching us from. This is Awakened Africa and I'm your host Bemo. Welcome back to another episode of my YouTube channel whereby today I'll be discussing why black leaders in the United States fail. Most of the time they fail to serve the interest of their own people. Why black Black American leaders in the United States fail to understand or fail to fulfill the needs of their own people. And there is a video that I came across. It was an interview, I think. It was an interview show on the Love Show, I think, whereby Minister Louis Farrakhan was having a conversation with the panel, and he was talking about the issue of taking a black person into Whitehouse and expect him to work for the black people, which is kinda tricky. So and then there is a video of a black American person who experienced the first-hand experience with the leadership of Barack Obama. Let it be known that Barack Obama is not just a black American. He's someone whose roots are directly connected to Africa. He's a Kenyan, right? He's a Kenyan by birth. You know, in Kenya, when you're born in another country, but one of your parents is Kenyan, you automatically become a Kenyan by birth. So that makes Barack Obama a Kenyan citizen by birth. So he's someone that has African roots directly. And I'll also discuss about the issue of Kamala Harris in this video. So guys, stay tuned up to the very end, and kindly, if this is your very first time watching me, then I'll ask you most definitely to subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you hit that like button so that this video can be suggested to as many people as possible. Turn on post notifications. Don't forget to comment, because I'd like us to have the conversation going on. But right about now, let us jump straight into that video, and then I'll be back with my analysis.
Are you gonna sit around begging white people to do for us what we have the power to do for ourselves? Excuse me. I'm quite passionate, so amen. You all set me off, you know that. And I love it. But listen, an agenda is a program, a schedule, a timetable, a plan, a list, a scheme to accomplish a certain result. We have come up with black agendas, but we've been looking to the wrong people to fulfill our agenda. If Franklin Delano Roosevelt said to A. Philip Randolph, yeah, everything you told me is right. The Negroes need this, the Negroes are suffering that. Now you go out and make me do it. Do you think that having a black face in the White House means that we don't have to make him do it?
That's right.
That's right.
Who surrounds him? Let me even go up a bit further. I just...
It's all right. It's all right, Linda.
Look. Our brother is brilliant. He got a good heart. I think he really loves America and wants to make America better. He wanted to ease the pain between America and the Muslim world. He wants to solve the problem of Israel and the Palestinians. He has the heart to want to make America better. But he's like that camel in the Quran that God warned the people, don't hamstring his camel. They didn't care what God wanted. They hamstrung the camel. Every one of our brothers and sisters that spoke today, we have a right to expect something from our brother. 97% of our people voted for him. Yes, there's trouble asset relief program, but there's no. There is still racist America between the money being sent down and it coming to those who need it most. If he does not use his bully pulpit to address that, we can fault him for that. But wait a minute. In love.
Everybody say it.
In love.
Say it again. One more again.
Okay, I want to deal with that word. Because love is bigger than some emotional feeling. The word love, you can change the vowel O to I and the consonant V to F. When you have love, real love, you have life. And that's why the scripture says we can tell that we have passed from death into life because we love the brotherhood. Okay? Now, I was with Elijah Muhammad one day, my teacher, and he said to me, "Brother, you're always talking about love. Define it for me." And I went into my Webster's emotional dictionary stuff, and he said, "Brother, where there is freedom, where there is justice, where there is equality, there is love and there is life." Our problem is we have been looking to the wrong source to give us freedom, justice, equality, love, and life.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I understand that you are an African American back in the continent. And so I want to ask you about what do you think Barack Obama has done for the black people, him being a black president?
Well, there's two things. One significant one is that it showed black people, minorities, that you could be black and become president. So we put that out. As far as what he did as president, one significant thing he did was to form the Obamacare, got it passed, biting teeth and nails. He got it done, and it took a lot of people, especially blacks, of not having health care to be able to afford health care, which we didn't have. He did promise an infrastructure bill, but the Congress gave him a hard time, could never pass that bill. That was the bill that would have made a big difference for us. Would have gotten us in good paying jobs and got us the black unemployment rate way lower, but that never formulated, never happened. And of course, I'm not going to go into that one because that's negative, but
Just say, spill the beans, brother.
Well, you know what? I didn't like what he did, and he signed for it with Gaddafi after he shook Gaddafi's hand. And the next thing you know, he betrayed him, I think. And being a Kenyan and being an African, I think that should have never happened. What happened in Libya, and on that part, I don't want to say too much about that, but I didn't like what happened in that clashing. Gotta say it. About outside of that, that's what I say for now.
Okay. So, you know, we have these police issues in USA with black people. Do you think during the time of Obama, the black man faced a little bit of freedom? Or was it just normal?
I think it was just normal. I didn't really see any difference in the change of police, unnecessary police stops. We were just targeted mostly to pay the city's bills. Because once you get ticketed, you're going to pay a fine. And a lot of money, if you look at the, I don't want to go into that one, where most of the city is made up of 80% blacks, and it seems like they're the ones ticketed, and it seems like they fund a lot of city projects through ticketing. That's what I don't like. We were just arguing for nonsense. And of course, you're going to show up to court. Most of them couldn't pay, and once they put a, what do you call it, be on the lookout, they'll find you, and then you're in jail for not showing up to court to pay a bill. So now you're in double jeopardy. First, you get a bill, a ticket, they'll be able to pay it, and then they'll come get you later and put you in jail for not showing up to court to pay that ticket. So you're now in the worst spot. So it was like the cycle of just, they court cases, they had to get lawyers. We were paying too much money into the
During the time
legal
of
system.
Obama.
Yeah.
So you as a black person in the United States, how did Obama changed your life during his time of presidency?
Well, as an individual, when he came through in 2008, I was already working for the state, so I had pretty good health care, went to college to earn a spot in a good paying job. So I didn't see the effects of anything. I lived in upstate New York. I know that Syracuse, New York had a high poverty rate, high crime rate, and I didn't see really no change in that part. As far as the legal side of helping young blacks, where we are always the ones that are filling up the jails. Right now, Baltimore, Maryland just approved a state-funded $1 billion prison system. And everybody's asking, who's that for? And we know who it's for. So we'll see when the numbers come, who's going to be locked up, who's going to go to jail. I don't know if they're prepping for what's coming up next, or just housing, bring the housing problem down with housing in jail.
Yeah.
Being sarcastic, but yeah, I think there's a problem with that.
So guys, I think we've all listened to what Farrakhan has said, and whatever this black American guy who had visited Kenya and what he had to say. And allow me to say this. Number one, where top American leaders sit is called the White House. The word itself tells you that this house is white. It's not meant for the black people. And don't get me wrong, please. And this is why I'm saying that this house, it was not meant for the black people. Because if it were meant for, it was not inclusive. If it were inclusive, it means that it might have been given a different name from the White House. So automatically, when you go into the White House and you just ask, I know you're asking yourself, who are these people that are capable of sponsoring someone or supporting someone, campaigning for someone until they get to the White House? Who is this person? Of course, a white man, right? So when you go to the White House as a black person, number one, you're not going there to serve your interest, or you're not going there to serve your people's interest. You're going there to serve the interest of the white person. Your people or yourself will come later. If I ask you, who was the vice president during Obama's tenure? You have the answer, right? And the people, of course, the people, just not even about the people. Look at the party that took Barack Obama into the White House. Yes, Barack Obama was a good person, he tried to bring Obamacare. He tried to, of course, Obamacare was to serve the black people, the less privileged people, especially these I can say marginalized communities like the black people, the Latino, the Asian community. Those people who could not access affordable health care, they were catered for in the Obamacare. Now, as much as he did all that, have you ever asked yourself why Obama never took a black person and presented him after the end of his second term? That is what I'm trying to say. After the end of his second term, why didn't he took a black person who had potential and presented him to vie for the president. Why didn't he do that? Now, I've explained for Obama. Just most recently, look at Kamala Harris. The same Democratic Party, right? Same blue, right? So, one thing that I also came to realize about the Democrats will always pretend to side with the people. But at the end of the day, they are not siding with the people. I'm not saying this from a bad, maybe from a bad point of view, but I'm just trying to expound, if you guys can understand me. The Democrats have always tried to stand with the black people, which is not true. All along, black people have been voting for the Democrats. So I was watching another interview, and another old African man was saying that he started voting for the Democrats in 70s. You know, someone who was voting for the Democrats in 70s, because the Democratic Party came in a way that it was supporting black people. That's why it normally gets massive support from the black people. So let me not lose track, but let me talk about Kamala. So when you talk about Kamala, look at her. Who picked her? Joe Biden, right? Then Joe Biden, and then, you know, politics is always about interest, right? Biden knew that as Democrats they will need the help of black people, because black people are massive. When black people choose to stand with you, my brother, my sister, just know that you're definitely going to win. I don't know what happened to Kamala by the way. So for Kamala going into the White House, I'm not saying that she didn't help black people, but when you take a look, or when you try to weigh, did she do it extensively? Did she deserve to go back to the White House as the president? Yes, she did, or maybe no, she didn't. Now, if Kamala was in the White House, what could be different in the black community? If Kamala could have gone to the White House right now, if she could have been the president right now, what could be different in the black community? That is a question that I'm posing to you. You will tell me in the comments. You will engage me in the comments. You will tell me what you feel about this video, or what is your answer to that question. But most definitely, if you're new to this channel, I'll ask you to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, share this video, turn on post notifications, because every day I post your videos, and I'll be grateful if you'll be the first person to get to watch them. This is Awaken Africa. I've been your host, Ben. Peace out.